everybody. Come on in. It's the Shawn Yankey show. We're going to start in just a second. Thanks for coming, everybody that's here. Like and share. Get this out. Spread this little show. Help us grow. This is only the 3rd episode. So we're still finding our bearings and getting going. But share it out. Be the media. Help spread this show. Thanks for coming, guys. Let me see who we got here. I love that intro. It was the intro for the Daily Burn, but I really like it because I had just got done perfecting it, and I'm not gonna quit using it. Hey, Kilo, it has been a while. Thanks for coming. Good to see you here. Nissa says the cops are out today. Hey, Nissa. Hey, Joan. Hey, Heath. Dolores. Jack. Good to see you guys. Helen. Hey. Good to see some people here. I did, Jack. Jack sent me a birthday present, and thank you very much, Jack. That is amazing. That was awesome. You did not have to do that. That was great of you. I appreciate it. And it really helped today because Bernie endorsed Biden today. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So we're going to work through that, and then I hope we can put that behind us after we get done talking about it. We're going to explore it. We're going to grieve. We're going to work it out, and then I think we should move on. But I also want to talk about being in a book club, and, we're kind of all in the book club now. I think I have to involve you. So we've been reading the shock doctrine, and it's very relevant to what's going on in the world right now. I actually think we should all read it. You need to freshen up on this. It's very relevant to what's going on. Marie says, went to a park in St. Louis today to fly kites and nothing happened. Still have seen no cops in the area at all. They announced here that they would not be responding to any non-emergency calls, even break-in. Basically, the purge is on. Wow. That's crazy. Let's see. I want to make sure that everyone's going good. We're on Periscope, which is Twitter's live streaming. We just started streaming to Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook right now. Let me get something really quick. I'll be right back. I forgot to share it on my phone. I got to have my phone with me because I need a second device. I really need one of those people, like an assistant, like Jamie, like Joe Rogan has on the Joe Rogan podcast, or Howard has a whole team of people, Howard Stern. I need something like that. I need people to help me. There's too much going on in a live show, especially streaming to multiple platforms. But it looks like we're good everywhere. So we're going to get into the meat of the conversation here in just a little bit. I just want to bring this up on Facebook so I can see the comments better. Well, it looks like that's as good as I'm going to see it, and that's as good as I'm going to share it. He says we're good, so we'll just move forward. But thanks again, Jack, for the birthday present. That was awesome. And thank you to everybody who reached out to me on my birthday. I still haven't gotten a chance to go through all of the responses and all of the birthday wishes, so that's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Kilo. Wasn't a very good birthday present. I think that was the day that Bernie suspended his campaign, so it was kind of a punch in the gut on my birthday. But let's go ahead and get it over with. Bernie endorsed Biden today. They actually did a live stream together. And it was very difficult for me to sit through. Matter of fact, I made it through 18 minutes and 36 seconds. Now, if you made it through the whole 34 something minutes, you deserve a badge. You're bulletproof. I don't know how you made it that long. But in the 18 minutes that I watched, Bernie not only endorsed Joe Biden, he said they've been working together for weeks, that they have task force that they've put together between the two campaigns. They've been working together for weeks. How many is that? How many weeks? You know, I sat there for as long as I could stand it. And I watched Bernie, a defeated version of Bernie, by the way, exactly like he was in 2016. Not a passionate Bernie Sanders, nobody that seems inspired by what he's saying or even believes in what he's saying, but is still doing it, is still standing there saying it, and pushing Joe Biden on the American people. Endorsing him, promising to work for him, will campaign hard for him. He worked harder for Hillary Clinton than Hillary ever worked for herself. Our revolution's leader has went his own way. I'm sorry. That's the meat of it. Bernie is no longer leading this revolution. If we need a leader, let it be Nina Turner. Hell, I'll throw my name in the hat if there has to be a leader. I don't want that responsibility. I don't think anybody does. But if we have to have someone, let it be Nina. Let it be somebody passionate. Killer Mike. We can have an election, but we must not back down or stop or end this rising that is going on. Bernie cannot determine our destiny. This was never about Bernie. This was about us. And if you really listen to what he said the entire time, he told you that. He said it over and over and over and over and over again. This is not about me, it is about you. You have to do these things. He empowered us. I respect him. I admire the man. I will get over my initial hurt. But I am hurt. And we can get into that. We will. But we have to keep moving forward. We must. Kilo said he always said he would endorse. It doesn't surprise me. It sucks, though. Yeah, I know he did. I know he said he would endorse. I don't know how he could. I don't believe that man is stupid enough to suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. I really don't believe the words coming out of his mouth anymore. It's almost like he's been compromised and is being forced to speak. We're used to watching Bernie talk. That wasn't Bernie today. That was defeated Bernie. That was the Bernie that campaigned for Hillary Clinton in 2016. That's who that was. That's who we're going to see for the remainder. And later we're going to get into a friend of mine's theory. I was kind of hoping he'd show up. I'm going to wait and see if he does before I bring up his theory. But he has a theory on what Bernie may be up to. We'll get to that. I just want to make sure that we understand that we keep moving forward no matter what. We can make these changes. We can get these things we want. We can push the agenda in that direction by just continuing forward on the path that we're on. We don't need Bernie to lead it. We don't have to elect Bernie Sanders in order to make these changes. Jack says, I told Tim Black I would vote for him. Vote for who? Oh, vote for Tim Black to be the leader? I like Tim Black. Marie says I made it about 20 minutes as well. I couldn't watch anymore. I mean, it was disgusting. Did you pick up on the working together for a while part? And then Helen said she bailed at Joe Biden's fake surprise over being endorsed, which was, what'd she call it? Aw shucks, his little aw shucks moment. Yeah, That was completely fake surprise. Joan says, I didn't see it yet, but I'll watch it later. Once you do, you're going to know. Steve says, I couldn't watch it all either. He says, the other week got punched in the gut. This week got my legs swept out from under me. I'm good with Nina and Shawn. Thinking about voting green in November, Heath? I could see that. That's something to do. I tell you what we're not going to do is vote for Joe Biden. Bernie is not very good at being a sheepdog. Now, people have told me forever that that's what Bernie is. And I've been fighting that. And I still can't believe it. Because it doesn't make any sense. And my friend Nick has a theory. And like I said, I hope he was here. Maybe he'll catch it later. He thinks maybe what Bernie was trying to do all along is enrage us. To get us to be so disgruntled with the system and the way things are that we tear it down. That he did that and started to do it in 2016 and did enough damage to cause Hillary to lose. You know, in this theory, Bernie never expects us to support the nominee. In this theory, he is, if I ever tell you who to vote for, don't listen to me. So he almost tore it down in 2016, and then he ran again in 2020 to finish off the job. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense is to stand up there and preach that this country is bought off by the ultra rich, the 1% of 1%, and that Wall Street interests and big money and, you know, the oil industry and war, the war machine, all this stuff is evil and being used to keep us down. And we can have nicer things. These other people that are telling you that you can't, they're not really telling you the truth. But then switch to, but vote for them. Remember everything we talked about? Go ahead and forget all that. Go ahead and vote for them. It doesn't make any sense. You rile everybody up to get them to vote for the establishment agenda that you've been running against, completely running against. Ginger says it is not me, it's us. That's the important part. What I want to make the most important part of our little talk about Bernie, and then I want to move on to other things. We keep going. We don't stop. We can change things. We can make this stuff happen. We've made everything that's happened so far happen. We are the reason why people are starting to, $15 an hour is starting to become a reality. That's being done. We're the reason why Trump's flirting with Medicare for all, why you're hearing that in the mainstream at all. We're the reason for those things. So we can make them happen. We can do this stuff, and we don't have to stop, no matter what Bernie did. Marie said Bernie definitely showed us the wizard behind the curtain. He exposed a lot. If he ever tells you who to vote for, don't listen to him. Maybe he wants us to tear it down. I think Nick has something in his theory. But I'm not going to bend over backwards to try to rationalize it. It's done. He made a decision. I don't agree with it. He's going to see it through. So he's on the other team now. You know, he's fighting for the establishment. He's trying to convince as many of us as he can to vote for Joe Biden. A man who not only represents everything that we stand against, but has dementia and is a rapist. He has a credible rape allegation against him right now. And the media is not even talking about it. The media is also not talking about the fact that his mind is slipping away. But without those other two things, which are deal breakers, I don't care who you are. I could love the man and find out he did what he did to that woman, and I wouldn't be able to support anything but jail for that person. It wouldn't matter who it was. I don't understand. Jones says Bernie's an elected official, but look at what happens to everyone in government these days if they go against Trump. He really could be not safe. Trump said today that he has total control even over governors. I think Trump just rambles. Sometimes I don't think Trump cares what he says, and he doesn't know the extent of his abilities or powers or reach. So he just talks. I don't find Trump scary. And if Bernie is naive enough to think that Trump is a threat, Trump is just a symptom of the problem. He's just a cog in the wheel. He's not the establishment that Bernie endorsed today. Bernie is endorsing the beast that lies to you, the wolf in sheep's clothing, that is there for the same reasons as the Republicans. But it's worse because they lie into your face. Steve says all the candidates dropped out and endorsed Biden, even Beto, except Warren, who stayed in. Tell me that wasn't orchestrated. And she still hasn't endorsed Biden. And he said he'd pick a woman, but didn't he say a woman of color, or did he? I don't know if that's something somebody put in my head or if that's something he said. Ginger says Joe Biden is a joke. The Muslim community just came out as no Joe. Joe cannot win. And he sat there today like Bernie had handed him the presidency. He really thinks we'll come support him. We are going to actively work against him. That's what we do now. Where we go now, we actively destroy the Democratic Party. We tear it down. Lacey says because there's governors saying they will ignore letting people go back to work. Now, Lacey, clear this up for me. Is Trump calling for people to go back to work, or which direction or is the fight going in? Because I've been paying no attention to this COVID-19 fear outbreak. This is, at this point, I'm convinced that this is just being done to shock us. And when we get to the book club thing, I'll talk about that a little more. Hey, Jay, good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. He says jail for Biden and anyone like Biden. Look, I don't know how you can listen to Tara Reid's story and not come to the conclusion that Joe Biden is a rapist. Azor says, I feel like he was just told to read the script. Today? Did you watch Bernie today? He says, I saw a story that says 16% of Bernie supporters will switch to Trump now. How did they arrive at that figure? I don't know where they got 16%, but I would say that's pretty conservative. There were a lot that defected to Trump last time. Kilo says, I don't think Jesus himself can help Biden. Nobody could. And Bernie can't believe that he can. So that theory does make a little sense, but I'm not going to make excuses. Yeah, Sergeant J, I'm glad to see you. Yeah, Jack, Joe is not going to beat Trump. So what's Bernie doing? What do you think? What do you think of Nick's theory? I wish I could say it was mine. I couldn't make any sense of it. I was trying to figure it out because I'm like, he can't think that we're going to support Joe Biden. He knows we won't. He knows what happens when he does this, so why does he do it? Helen says this election cycle should be really good for a third party. So should the last one. The last one should have been really good for a third party too. It should have been extremely good for the Green Party. A lot of us went green. I don't know about this with the rigged voting machines, about having a revolution in the voting booth. I get it. Vote for the Greens. But we need to go to direct action. Start changing things in our own reality. And getting involved at the local level. Paying attention to local politics and local laws being passed and your local elections and things like that. Yeah, Lacey says only one in control is God. Nobody knows. And Ginger says, do you have any more masks? Steve had masks. Ginger's works in a hospital. In the hospitals, they can't get the equipment that they need. I've seen videos of nurses crying about having to quit because they weren't allowed to use a mask because there weren't masks for everybody. This nurse in particular had her own mask and said she wasn't allowed to use it. It's just terrible what I'm hearing. Jones says Trump wants to open up the country, and he said he has total control over the governors if they don't want to. Oh. How long, though, could we have a shutdown on a $1,200 bailout? You know? I don't know. I don't know about this shutdown. It doesn't feel right at this point. I don't think. I'm not a doctor, though. Ginger could tell me better. Ginger might correct me. She might be mad. But the national shutdown at this point, I'm not. I'm seeing them exploit fear, and the things they're doing with that fear have not been good so far. So I worry how much we'll give up because of fear. And then, you might hit me with, well, this virus is very dangerous. A lot of people have it. A lot of deaths. But if you really look at the stats and the reporting, is it being misdiagnosed is what I worry. And I'll explain. I can explain more on that. But they're being open that if it's possible that it was COVID, to market COVID. Well, that's not very accurate because there's a lot of things that are similar to COVID that might not be COVID. There's many illnesses, and I worry that these numbers are being pumped up and these stats are being inflated. Helen says there's a lot more people pissed this time. Nobody's madder than people that have been shit on twice by someone you gave a second chance. I'm hurt. I didn't say half of what I wanted to say. I was holding back. I'm mad. I preached for months that I made excuse after excuse that he would not quit on us. And that's exactly what he did. And it just breaks my heart to watch it. Yeah, Heath, I'm mad as hell. Kyle said Yankee Doodle. That's original. No, I grew up with this name. And I kind of like using it. It got in my head changing the name to my name. I didn't want that. It was like too much. It was like a magnifying glass on me. I kind of liked hiding behind a title. It's weird being out front because now I got to prove that I even deserve to have a name next to an old Alf TV. Ginger said, I'm not hurt. I'm calling for major change, and that happens from the bottom up. Shut down everything. Biden is in favor of back to work. Dolores shared a thing from the... Why'd it go away? That's weird. Kilo says that he'll pick Kamala. Azora says they are really using this endorsement today to push Joe dementia even harder. Have you seen all the new articles about coming together trying to con as many Bernie supporters as they think they can? No, I haven't. But I'm sure. I'm sure there's tons. Kilo says giant meteor 2020. Oh yeah. Look, I'm not going to be scared by Donald Trump. Lacey asked me if I saw the protest. Man, I wonder what else I missed. No, I didn't. I didn't see it. Joan says I'm mad and hurt, but also grateful for all that Bernie has done. That's what I'm saying. I'm hurt, but I respect him. And I feel like he's empowered us. And as long as we keep moving forward and we understand that what he does at this point doesn't affect us, we keep moving on the path we're on. He went how he had to go, whatever made him do it. I don't agree with it, so we keep going forward. He says, I fought for Bernie in my home state, endured insult after insult, donated for him, and it feels like all or nothing or burn. I quit on me. I feel like he quit on us too, and I feel like he should have never took this on if he wasn't ready to see it through. There was no reason to get us all riled up and fired up that we were going to take down the establishment. You know, I think back on all those rallies towards the end before the virus. He was kept introducing Jane as our future First Lady, and he was so excited and talking to us about belief. What happened? What happened? Like, the establishment threw all they had at him, you know, everything they had at him. I get that. And billions of dollars were thrown at him. I get that. It was going to be hard. I thought everybody understood that. So why would you quit? Junior says, I honestly don't see why healthy people can't go back to work. But we need major change now, and we need to shut down everything except hospitals, fire departments, and EMS. Are you speaking of a general strike? Because that's the kind of stuff we need to do. And this is an ideal time. You know, we're already under lockdown, and we're not that far from it. Helen says Bernie's website is still open for donations. Now, I haven't verified the website thing, but Helen shared with me today on a live stream, on that live stream today, there was the link for donations. The nerve of that is outrageous. That you would, what did he raise, Bernie? Does anybody know? It was 150 something million, right? I mean, I'm not right. I'm close. A lot of money from regular people at $18 a piece. Ginger says he isn't taking campaign donations. Hasn't in a month. What are the donations going to? Dion said that the other day too. Dion said he's raising money for charity. What charity? I think people deserve to know. I mean, general strike would be awesome, and it's the thing that we need to do. It's necessary. Yes, rent strike. That's what she was talking about. Mortgage strike, student debt strike, general strike. This is exactly what needs to happen. I'm glad that you brought that up. Jones says if the impeachment and this virus didn't take him out of the campaign, maybe things would have been different. Why would the virus take him out? Why would he allow the virus to end his campaign? You see what I'm saying? Am I not afraid of this virus as afraid as I should be? I feel like I'm out in the real world every day. I'm lucky enough to be an essential employee. All I'm seeing is the tightening down of society, and I don't think a lot of it's ever going to go away. I'm worried about what's going on. And then financially, I'm already hurting. So how long can that go on? I can't afford for it to go on much longer than it already has. Joan says that she heard that the money is going to COVID support. He's listed every charity on his emails, Ginger said. 10 of them so far. Well, I'm the worst at reading my emails. Helen says delegates saving money, not having to travel for him. Expect crowds on demand and Craigslist posting for seat fillers. I was going to run. I was running for I wanted to be a delegate. I wanted to do everything I could. Everything. I was so invested in this. And I'm not ashamed of it. I would do it all over again because I believe in what I was doing. And I believe in those things that we wanted to do. And I'm not ashamed that I believe those things. I never sat here every day and lied to you guys on the Daily Burn. Believed everything I was telling you. And whenever I spoke of Bernie or what Bernie was going to do, I believed what I was saying. I didn't think it made any sense. I felt like it was irresponsible. He did it anyway, and I don't understand it. But I know that we keep going. Steve said we should all switch to the Green Party to send a message to the DNC, at least until the People's Party gets on its feet. As far as registering as Green, I'm 100% for it. It's a great idea. But definitely Dem exit. The Democratic Party is an enemy of democracy and needs to be brought down. He says it's a big club and we're not in it. You're absolutely right. And we've never been in it. So let's tear it apart. The establishment basically is them. They're all one big family. They're in power right now. They just didn't want Donald Trump to be president. They don't really care if he stays president. They don't expect Joe Biden to win. It's pageantry. They were there to make sure that Bernie Sanders didn't win. And that we got our spirit broken. That's what they're trying to do, is break our spirit. Ginger says, I'm thinking $350 million, but he says $10 million donations averaging $18. Okay. So about $180 million. Jones said his campaign is mostly door to door and he can't get support when nobody has any money. And he would not take dinner money. $180 million is a lot of money. You think he's already out of money? I mean, you know, Biden can't campaign either. They're both under the same restrictions, so why would you drop out? The only thing that stopped for Bernie when he dropped out was the pressure to drop out. There was no real reason to do it other than that. Kilo says one of the advantages of supporting Bernie is you don't have to compromise your integrity by voting for him. Well, it's no longer an option. So if you're going to vote at this point, I think it needs to be strategic. And you need to use strategy with your vote. And I'm not going to be held hostage. These people that are enemies of democracy and enemies of progress and enemies of change, they need to be taken down. I don't care what letter's next to their name or how many seats we lose or what happens in the Supreme Court is not going to be held over my head anymore. Ginger says you're asking Sirota about exit polls and fraud. I hope he covers it. He's got a new newsletter now. TMI, if you want to check it out. David Sirota was the head writer on the Burn Notice. And I think even was he a speechwriter, Ginger, or am I reaching? But he did work for the Bernie campaign, and now he's got his own thing going on. He says he's going to expose all kinds of stuff like that. So I'd be interested in hearing what he has to say on it. He said, did Bernie show his true colors today? Man, I don't know how to say it. What I saw was the old defeated Bernie from the point he endorsed Hillary on. The I'm trudging through doing what I think I have to do Bernie Sanders. Not the real, inspired, passionate Bernie Sanders. That Bernie Sanders has finished his fight. Now it's Senator Bernie Sanders. This is no longer presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. And I don't know what the morals or reasons or plan is at all. I just know that our future cannot hinge on what Bernie did today, and we have to keep moving forward towards progress. You've been fighting a cold all day? Don't you cough on me, Paul. I know you can spread that stuff through the internet. Steve says Jordan Cherian has COVID-19. Pasta Jardula was crying today. His uncle died of the virus. This shit is real. Oh, I know the virus is real. The virus is... I didn't say that. The virus is real. What did I say that made you think it wasn't? That I thought it wasn't? No, I think it is. I think it is real. The fear over it is outrageous. I stand behind that. And they are misdiagnosing it. It is being overdiagnosed. They're not giving the test to everybody even. And there's information from the CDC's own site that they are encouraging hospitals, if the cause of death is unknown and COVID could have been a cause, to mark it as COVID. Ginger says if he gave every poor person $1 million, we'd be set. Somebody tried to tell me a day that he pocketed $90 million. How could he? Wouldn't that be... There's no way. I mean, where do these rumors come from? Yeah, Paul, I hope you feel better too. I'm sorry to hear that you have a cold. Lacey said some girl they would test but diagnose her with COVID. Wouldn't. They don't even have enough tests. Isn't that crazy? Steve says just a statement, not questioning me. Oh, I didn't mean to take it. If I looked like I was taking it personal, I totally was not. I'm not a doctor. So I just feel like this fear mongering is irresponsible. And I don't think society can handle being shut down. It can't continue like this. You know? I don't think. How long can people go on? How long are you prepared? Most people. Me. I'm not at all. I don't know where I'm getting my next roll of toilet paper, guys. This stuff is serious. This stuff is really serious. Marie says never had enough tests. No, they don't. Lacey says I've heard they found contaminated tests, so they got rid of them. Wow. Steve says Los Angeles is doing praise. Oh, pretty well. Is that what you were saying? I know we do need to move on, though. We're going to have to rebuild. I'm trying to make 2 points at the same time and I almost tripped all over myself. The society's going to have to move on, though, with this virus. And I don't know that things will ever be the same. You know, the restaurant that I work at, we're getting these things for the floor, and they're permanent to show people where to stand. The social distancing thing, that's not going nowhere. You know, they're conditioning us. They're training us, and I don't like it. You know, the introvert in me loves it, you know, to be able to say, hey, 6 feet, man. But the conspiracy theorist in me is screaming, watch out. Joan says schools are closed here for the rest of the school year. Here too. He says this generation used corn cobs for TP, the greatest generation. I'm not doing that. They must have been. They had a lot, either less sensitive, or I guess if you used a corn cob your whole life, your butt would be pretty abrasive. But I can't do that. Not gonna do it. I saw someone suggest a live squirrel, and I would do that before I did a corn cob. Joe says they have that everywhere on the floors here. I feel like you're responding to a comment. Yeah, Lacey, we can't be scared forever. I'm more afraid of the fear-mongering at this point than I am the virus. Just every day, because I open. Every morning I get the paper out off the front stoop. And every morning the headline is something like the most tragic thing you've ever heard. Like everyone's dying. There's no hope. There was this thing where they had a preacher that was praying on pictures of his. Why am I going blank on what churchgoers are called? But praying over their pictures because this is so deadly. And it is. I'm not trying to say it's not real or a real virus. But why are we trying to get everybody terrified and scared to death? Isn't it enough that we're separated by 6 feet and how much do we want to give them in the interest of safety? Steve says this could be a test, or could this be a test? Yes, it could. They had a pandemic event before this kicked off, planning a coronavirus outbreak, a pandemic, exactly like the one that's going on. So they prepared already. People say no one could have imagined. Well, they did imagine. I'm not saying they pre-planned it, but they did imagine a viral global outbreak of a coronavirus with the respiratory and all of that. So they planned exactly for this. They can't say that no one could imagine, because Bill Gates imagined it and held a war game, pandemic tabletop exercise for this exact same thing, like a month before the outbreak. Steve says maybe they want to see how much people will stand for. They're gonna see. They never let a good crisis go to waste. I'm not implying that they're responsible, but they're not going to waste it. There's stuff that they've been trying to push through and agendas they've been trying to unravel and unleash on us for long periods of time. And they use these shock moments to push them in. While they get you afraid, you got to pay attention to what they're doing, what they're not pointing the cameras at. That's when they do that stuff to you. Kilo says chaos sells. And they use it. They never let it go to waste. Kilo says the Department of Defense thinks that stuff up all the time. Oh, they could definitely have imagined. They imagine all kinds of different scenarios. And again, I'm not saying that means they pre-planned it, but they thought about this. They've planned it out. Their response to it. How they would handle it. What they would do. Lacey says 6 feet won't stop a 70-mile-per-hour sneeze. I still feel like George Carlin was onto something with your body has defenses and they need germs to practice on. But maybe I'm an idiot. I'm not terrified. I have to wear gloves now at work to hand out drinks and bags and stuff. Not even making food. I'm never touching your food. I never touched it. And I have to wear gloves. And I have there's a protective mask they're talking about making us wear. They already have a plastic shield that comes down to here anyway that they put in the window. I'm not this afraid. I'm just not. I've been touching filthy money for years. It's incredibly dirty. You know, if you knew how filthy the touchscreen was at a fast food joint or anywhere you use a touchscreen, basically, you'd never use them if you're afraid of germs. Ginger says, do you have money for TP or are your shelves just empty? Oh, I was just joking. I was just trying to be funny. Oh, Steve says our shelves are empty. I missed something. Ginger says all the news makes me feel sick. Sure, it's the plan. Oh, they'll use it. They'll use it to their advantage, whether they planned it or not. It's just they did plan this. They planned out media reaction, how they should use it. They talked about this beforehand. Very powerful people gathered to plan out this exact scenario. Jones says they will put everything they want in a stimulus and it'll get passed. They're enriching themselves with this. Think about what just happened in that last stimulus package, because it was much bigger than $2.2 trillion. When Trump signed it, over and over and over again, he said 6.2. There's a hidden $4 trillion in there somewhere. But it was a heist on the American people, is exactly what it was. And we got table scraps. $360 million went to the people. The rest of it went to the richest people. Alice says, I only sub to good people and I'm subbed to you. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel because I want everything to hub out of YouTube. So if you're here on Facebook, a good way to support the shows is to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But I love hearing that. I appreciate that. Alice asked or said, what did you release that made me sub to you? I don't know. You must be trying. Wait a minute. I'm slow to the uptake sometimes. That could have been a jab. Kilo says they fed us breadcrumbs to quiet us down. Well, we can't ignore what just happened. Steve says the $1,200 check comes out of next year's refund on taxes. Now, somebody argued with me that that's not true. I thought I'd heard that it was a loan on next year's taxes. It's not even a bailout. Helen says they planned it, scripted it, and even made plushy souvenirs for it. You know what? That's not out of the realm of possibilities. Matter of fact, other countries are reporting that this may have originated in the United States. They specifically named Fort Detrick. I don't trust these people. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying other countries are saying that we had a bioweapons lab in Fort Detrick, which we did, that got shut down, that was recently reopened. And you can look up them reopening it for this crisis, but it was shut down over a leak. They've since decided it was not their fault, but some kind of a leak before this outbreak, and people are saying that it could have been that. I'm just saying they are. I haven't researched it. I'm not presenting it as a fact. I'm saying that there's other ideas of where this originated from. And like Helen's saying, they could have. I don't trust them. I believe, and I did research this, I believe they released Lyme disease on the American people. I believe they created it and released it. I don't know if it was an accident or not, or intentional, but I believe they created it. And I've made an in-depth video on it that is on the channel, by the way. Go to the YouTube channel and you can check that video out. Marie says, I was told that wasn't true as well. I have to find out. Now I got to know. I'm not even getting a check. You know, not everybody gets one. And if you're behind on child support, that's a reason to disqualify you, and I am. And you can be behind on your child support and not be a deadbeat. I pay every 2 weeks. I'm just behind. Helen says they gave everybody, even the poorest, which usually get overlooked, a little piece to make more accomplices. I didn't get any. Steve says I look like a genie with the new haircut. You know, my hair was getting on my nerves. I do this every once in a while. I just usually wear a hat, so my hair is never really a focus. But the hat isn't working out because I can't get the lighting right. And there's too much shadow cast in my face. So I'm trying to work without the hat, and I feel naked without it, to be quite honest with you. That was kind of my look, and I liked it. Alice says, I believe you're right. Look up Cliff Nye. He's convinced this is a bioweapon. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. And it could have originated in Wuhan as well. They have bioweapons facilities in Wuhan. Bioweapons are real. They work on them actively. You know, we have more than just the bioweapons facility at Fort Detrick. They're genetically modifying viruses to make them more powerful, to release them as weapons. This research goes on every day. I'm not making it up. People get mad when you say that. Look into Lyme disease. Look it up. Look into Plum Island, into that facility and what they were researching there, and compare that to Lyme disease and tell me that that's not where it came from. Alice says he's got a lot of evidence. We hired Wuhan to create SARS version 2. You talking about the Harvard professor that was working for China? And yeah, it's not outside the realm of possibilities. These people are monsters. And I don't think anything should be off of the table at this point. But again, I'm the conspiracy guy. But we've rolled that all into one show now, and that's going to be a terrifying ride for a lot of people. Kilo says bacteria in animals that humans were never supposed to come in contact with, open-air slaughterhouses and markets. Not a bioweapon, from bad hygiene practices in China. Very possible. And that's on the table as well. Right now we're in theory land, so that's on the table too. Jones says it mutated too fast and too much, yet very rapidly. Lacey says, I read an article that said after the first round of stimulus checks they are trying to write up, giving essential workers a $25,000 bonus because this is a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence and they deserve it. That's a lot of money, kind of hard to believe. You probably don't qualify for it if you're behind on your child support or multiple other reasons. They'll come up with a reason to keep you from getting it. Steve says, remember that professor and 2 guys that got busted with vials boarding a plane in China? Mm-hmm. And that stuff is getting erased. I was going to do see, this is a big hang-up now. I don't know really what to do moving forward. So let me ask, since there's a good group of regulars here right now. YouTube is censoring everything really heavy, and you really can't cover almost anything to do with this virus, especially that stuff. The professor and the 2 guys like Steve was just talking about, you just get heavily suppressed. And I don't know, should I just cover it anyway and give the videos misleading titles to try to throw off the algorithm? I don't really know what to do sometimes. James says the fake news runs deep in this. Kilo said every third replication is a decoy like a defense mechanism. Alice says bioweapons created from bats. This is provable, Cliff. Oh. Alice, yeah. F the algorithm. YouTube blocked your comment, by the way. YouTube does that. They block comments. You're essential too, Steve? Isn't it amazing? Doesn't it feel great? It's very empowering. I'm very proud of my essential status. And I feel like they should give me 25K. I kind of feel like I deserve it. I've always known I was essential. And, I feel like my boss knew it too. Steve says, Helen says, vials hidden in socks. Nothing hinky there. No. There's quite a bit being ignored here. Joan says there's quite a bit of stuff on this virus on Facebook. Well, if you see anything good, tag me in it. I'm open to new information all the time. I'm always willing to learn. Kilo says morbidly fascinating in a way that something with no brain can have complex ways of defending itself. It is fascinating. A lot of life is extremely fascinating. That's why at times I don't understand people that think they have it all figured out, because there's no way he possibly could. Ginger says, my work won't pay us hazard pay. She wasn't as nice as I was. She said what you should say when you're talking about a job that won't pay. She works at a hospital. Medical professionals, hazard pay right now. I don't know why. I didn't mean to love that. I meant to angry that. He says I deserve 25K. You're damn right. You're damn right. A Shawn stimulus. Then I could settle up with my ex-wife. But what do you guys want to get into? I feel like we should leave it up to you guys where we end off today. For an hour, I've been rambling. Now we're talking about the virus, which we can talk about more. All I really know about it is that we don't know the truth. And I haven't really dug because I don't know how to get it out there, Alice says I deserve 50K. Thanks for the stream. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you for saying that. But this is a regular show, so this will be on every day, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And we're going to figure it out as we go. I was doing a few different shows, but I've decided to just roll it all into one umbrella. We have all kinds of things we can cover. We can cover conspiracy theories. We can talk about absolutely everything on this show. That's what it essentially is a comment-driven, open-minded platform that is for everyone. We can talk about anything we want. Steve says virus mutations are usually less lethal, but who knows? Could go the other way. Read The Stand by Stephen King or watch the miniseries on YouTube. Captain Trips. That's the virus in The Stand. That's what The Stand is about. This would be a great time to read The Stand. I love Stephen King. Joan says, I started listening to a 1-hour talk on it the other night, but I fell asleep. I was going to send it to you, but I didn't know how to share it on my phone. Well, if you stumble upon it again, tag me in it, like just in the comment section or whatever. Ginger says, nothing will change until Americans unite and shut this country down. A general strike is really all we can do and what we should do. So let's put together like a round table and iron this out. Plan it. Figure out how we're going to promote it and push this idea, because you're absolutely right. But we need to organize. We have to start taking full responsibility of that. This can happen. These things can happen. We can organize a general strike. I don't have any idea how, but I know that we can figure it out. So that's the kind of stuff we need to do. Lacey says, did you see he posted, I'm sorry, it feels like you're in one of my novels? No, I didn't see that. I don't pay much attention to what Stephen King says because he suffers from TDS, so I stopped even looking at his Twitter. Because I feel sorry for the people that are so afraid of Trump that they're not thinking for themselves. that he just represents a system that needs to be eliminated and destroyed. But Alice says it's time for us to demand freedom. You know, we don't have it. We have the illusion of. And we have less and less of it every day. They chip away at it every day in different ways. And here's how we'll end out. I'm in a book club and we're reading the shock doctrine. Everybody needs to read this book because it's exactly what they do to us. Anytime there is a major crisis, whether it's something that they created or it's natural phenomenon, they fully capitalize on it because it shocks the people, and they never let that fear go to waste. And that's exactly what's happening right now. He said some unions might be able to give pointers on how to organize a strike. We need to open up a discussion because that's where we need to head, but we need to get it well planned out, well thought out, and promoted. Problem, reaction, solution, the Hegelian dialect, that's exactly what they do. And a lot of times they create that problem, but they're not going to let one go to waste if it comes along. Yes, Steve, our elections are completely fake. They are. They are. It's complete pageantry, and I'm sorry that I sat here and preached that we could take it over. We can tear it down, though. We can bring it to its knees, and that's exactly what we should do. We should completely obliterate the establishment in all its forms, whatever letters next to the name. We know who they are. They've identified themselves. Joan says Zika came and went pretty quickly. You know, they're talking about Corona never going away. How do they know so much about it, you know? That we'll all need this vaccine and that they'll need a national tracking system to track who does and doesn't have the vaccine. That's scary talk to me. I don't like hearing that. A national tracking system. You know, what does that mean? Does that mean you're going to have to show your papers? Or is it what Bill Gates wants? Bill Gates wants a digital national tracking system. Now, is that a card you carry in your wallet, or is that an RFID chip? I don't like this kind of talk. I'm not going to give up those kind of things for safety, you know, and it scares me what people will give up because they're afraid. But things are never going back to normal, and I just think we need to pay attention. Lacey says that won't go away. See, I'm going back and forth, so I'm not exactly sure what you were saying. And there's like a 10-second delay between what you're seeing and what I'm saying. Helen says, all I can say is I expect blue states to put on a real show of resistance and being victims now. Even more is coming out of the Pfizer abuse and trying to make Biden look viable. I think Biden is going to get destroyed. My goal is to make the whole map red. For Trump to win in a landslide, that is my goal at this point. That doesn't mean I'm going to vote for Trump, but I'm actively going to campaign against Joe Biden. I want Joe Biden to lose, and I want Joe Biden to lose badly. I want it to be embarrassing. He'll help me along the way, but I will do all I can to make sure that Joe Biden never steps foot in the Oval Office as President of the United States. I'll make sure that doesn't happen with all of my might. That will be my agenda. Helen says, Cuomo stated, very animated and jovial with daily corona updates. Now he almost looks depressed that things are getting better. Well, he was the champion. It was his 9/11. He was Rudy Giuliani. They're just... And by the way, does he have nipple rings? There is a picture that it's very clear. Well, actually, a whole press conference. There is like those handlebar style nipple rings under his shirt. Marie says Bill Gates and the Google founders all stepped down at the same time. I think to make this new system of max vaccinations and 5G towers to track us all by nanochips. Watch the link above I shared by Anonymous. They do want to track us. They want us all on a digital tracking system. And they're open about it. They talk about it. Yeah, Heath, I want to see Joe Biden cry too. Joan says Fauci wants a card and Bill Gates wants an ultraviolet tattoo in the vaccination. This is real. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? No, this is real. It's really happening right now. Everybody needs to pay attention because they will try to accomplish all they can with this fear. Alice says we are human and they are demonic. Those that lord over us are Luciferian. You know, this show is going to kind of be all over the place, but the main thing that's going to hold it all together is that I'm not lying to you. You can look it up, and you may not be religious, but they are, and they're Luciferian. They have a Luciferian agenda. Sometimes the southern accent comes out. I grew up in Kentucky. Like, I kept a few things. Like, I say y'all. I still say y'all. I think y'all is a very good word, actually. It's very handy. But yeah, Fauci wants an ID card, and Bill Gates wants that ultraviolet tattoo, and he's also talked about RFID. I'm not doing that. I won't. I can't. I'm never going to give that much consent to this system, to this beast system. I'm never going to. I've had people call me anti-vax because I said that. I'm not getting an ultraviolet tattoo and being on a national tracking system. I'm not doing this. This is too much. They're going too far. Yeah, Alice, you may not be religious, but they are. Oh, they're deeply religious. And they believe. And they're pushing an agenda. So it affects you whether you like it or not. And Lacey says they already track our phones. Oh, yeah, I know. We're all carrying around surveillance equipment. They listen to your phone. You know, Edward Snowden gave up his freedom to make sure we all knew that. They're spying on us all right now. And a lot of us have welcomed it into our homes in multiple ways. They have an Alexa, or what are those called? The Amazon Alexa, right? Where you just ask it questions. That thing's listening to you all the time, but so is your phone, so is your smart TV. We're under constant surveillance. We literally live in the novel 1984. It's come to life. Alice said I said something profound. I do that accidentally from time to time. I have no idea what I said, though. Lacey said, did you watch his interview about the coronavirus on Viceland? I have not seen that, but I would like to. Joan says it was really sad the way Fauci had to suck it up today to keep his job. Steve says, I got up and got ready for work yesterday, thought it was Monday. The radio gave an Easter weather forecast, otherwise I would have gone to work. I lose track of what day it is too, though, so I know what that's like. But days of the week mean nothing in my industry. I don't really have a Monday through Friday job. Marie says we're on the same page. This is totally different. Let's see if people stand up when they come here for the adult, because they have been poisoning our kids for years. Even making it so manufacturers that have never even tested products are not legally held liable. She's not lying. Again, I'm not anti-vax. I'll go ahead and establish my position on it since we brought it up. And this is one of those topics you're not supposed to talk about, and I think you should talk about those things that you're not supposed to talk about, and you should wonder why you're not allowed to talk about them. But the vaccine industry is dangerously unregulated. That's a fact. And it has been since the mid 80s. And they have basically free reign to do as they choose and to roll out as many vaccines as they really want to. And they don't have to go through rigorous testing, and they do have dangerous chemicals in them. I'm not an expert, but I've had an expert on, and I will invite other people on in the future to talk about it if you'd like. I fall in the category of Robert Kennedy Jr. There needs to be regulation, there needs to be restrictions, and they need to be reined in. And I would like to see studies done. You know, they don't ever do blind studies. There's only been one blind study done for vaccines, and the results, they're not friendly to not testing. They should be doing research on the dangers of the vaccines, and they're not. See, I say profound things, and then I stumble, because I don't know exactly how to say what I'm trying to say. There is bad in going on in that industry, in the vaccine industry, for a fact. Why are you not allowed to talk about vaccines? No double-blind placebo tests ever. Jones says the COVID vaccination is certainly not going to be tested within a few months. What about long-term harm? I'm worried about the COVID vaccination myself. And I'm worried about it because Bill Gates is directly behind the funding and research for it. I don't trust him. I feel like he is an enemy of the people. You know, but I feel that way about anybody that attends Bilderberg meetings. You know, that is the big club that we're not in. He's in it. I don't trust him. He's not a doctor. Why does he have so much power and such a voice? Because he gives billions of dollars towards vaccines? But he's building 7 factories. 7 factories for the COVID-19 vaccine. Even though he says we'll only use 2. They're going to go ahead with 7 factories and 7 different vaccinations. Billions of dollars. And they want to make sure everyone gets this. And they're trying to scare everybody. And I don't want this vaccine. I'm not going to get it. I think that should be my right. I don't get a flu shot. I'm not going to get the COVID vaccine. You can have a negative opinion about me if you want over that, but I'm not going to. Steve says there's a company developing antibodies for the COVID. Looks hopeful. What do y'all know about this? Now I went blank on what it is. The medicine that Trump keeps talking about. Hydrochloroquine. Isn't that it? I've read a lot of articles saying that is effective at fighting the COVID. And it's a cheap method. So why isn't it being pushed by anybody but Trump? And why is Trump being dogged by it? And why don't you see Fauci talking about that? Why are they pushing for... Are they pushing for a more profitable medicine? Or is the hydrochloroquine thing BS? I'm not a medical expert. This is an opinion show. Steve said, Lacey said they probably already have one. Vaccine made? Oh, I'm sure. That wouldn't surprise me. Alice says, you may not be religious, but they are. Please say it again. Oh, those that lord over us, they're deeply religious. They are. There's all kinds of evidence for it. They put it right out there in the open. But they don't believe in the same God that you and I do. Oh, Alice super chatted. Thank you, Alice. That was really nice of you. They don't. Then they get you to worship their God. This show's going to be a mess, isn't it? I've I've combined too many things into one. This is true, though. By the way, it's not. I'm not lying to you. They they've convinced you to worship Lucifer. Jones says they also said that drug that Trump wants causes severe heart problems in some people. Now I got to find out. I'm going to have to earn a medical degree to host this show. I really don't know what to talk about on here. But Marie says Gates is the devil that has said his vaccines would lessen the population. May have said it by accident, but he said it. He said it multiple times. He didn't say it by accident. He said it multiple times. And he smirks when he says it. But he says that it will decrease the population by making people healthier. How would that be? How would you decrease the population by making people healthier? Now, they say that people would be less inclined to have children, but I don't know why that would be. Why would you be more inclined to have children in a less healthy set? It doesn't make any sense to me. Steve says hydroxychloroquine must be taken with zinc or it won't work. Zinc allows it to enter the cells. That's what I had heard. A combination. Thank you for correcting me, Steve. But I've heard that's effective at treating the COVID. So why aren't they pushing that? Why wouldn't you push that and get that out to everyone? If they're both available medications and you could take them together to fight this virus, why wouldn't you be promoting that, getting that out there? Alice liked that statement about the you may not be religious, but they are. They are deeply, and I don't. People get mad at me. They're like, I'm an atheist, and it just doesn't matter. The people that lord over you aren't, and they're the ones that have the power. So it needs to interest you, even if you aren't religious. Those that are ruling over you are. And the things that they're doing are because of that. Jones says that drug is Plaquenil. It is used for severe types of arthritis. Lacey said that. Wasn't that you, Lacey? That the Plaquenil? Helen says because they'd rather have deaths they can blame on Trump than give him credit for anything. That's just crazy, isn't it? I mean, is it that simple? Is it that Trump is in support of it? That Trump is pushing it? Because I saw somebody say that Trump has stake in the company. And I don't know if that's true or not, but how much could you profit off medications that are, from what I read, $100 to treat this virus? It's a cheap treatment. So how much could he possibly enrich himself on the stock that he has in these companies? I don't know. It seems like a really dumb reason to not get important information out to the people. And I know that other countries are using that method. Kilo says that he heard that he had involvement with that company too. But I'm saying, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Isn't it important information? It's just like when I read that ibuprofen may accelerate the virus. Now they're trying to say, well, that's not proven. Does it matter? I mean, why wouldn't you just tell people, hey, don't take ibuprofen for this if you think you have symptoms of this virus, to help them, to protect them, just in case it's true? Are you trying to protect ibuprofen stocks? I don't get it. Lacey says, yep. I thought that was you that had said that. Lacey says, I take it, I'm fine, and I go out. You know, like, I'm not afraid. Like, I feel inconvenienced I have to wear gloves at my job. Helen says he has very small holdings in a company and didn't go out and buy a crap ton of stock before advocating for them. Yeah, and I don't think it matters. I didn't know the details, but I knew someone would. I think if it's a viable method to treat this, we need to be moving forward with it and informing people about it. I hate this Trump derangement syndrome that you can't ever listen to anything he says because he's evil. I just don't think he is. I don't attribute supervillain qualities to the man, just like I don't attribute hero qualities to him. But as far as I know, he's just a mortal man. Just part of this whole system. I don't think he's fighting against it. Lacey said someone leaked the medicines to Q that helps it. I just don't understand why important information would be being withheld. And if that works, why you wouldn't tell people and spread it. And why they would fight against it. But maybe it doesn't. Like I said, I don't know that it does. Alice says A9. I'm not 100% sure what that's in reference to. Steve said, I saw a doctor saying that hydrochloroquine was zinc relieved all symptoms in 8 to 12 hours. I've read things like that too. That it's a very effective way to treat this virus. Joan says one show was saying this virus is similar to what hikers experience from altitude sickness, and also that the blood in their tests looks black. Oh no, you're fine, Alice. Don't worry about it. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been all over the place. I apologize. But I can't guarantee that won't happen again. This is a new idea, a way to roll everything into one and just kind of be myself and have a conversation with you guys. And we'll talk about anything. Nothing's off limits. Sometimes we'll cover news. Coming up Friday, I have a special guest that's coming on. Javier. His name's so nice you got to say it twice. He's going to come on Friday, and we're going to talk about ways that we can move society forward. He happens to be a Trump supporter, so I will be doing things like that, just so you guys know, because we need to reach across the aisle and find common solutions moving forward. So that's things that are coming up. I reached out to Tim Canova, but I have not gotten a response. He did see the message, so I do know that he has at least seen it, but he hasn't answered me. He came to a feed the other day, so I think I got a shot. So I reached out to him, and I'm also going to reach out to Nina Turner. Anyone else that you guys think of that you want to see, it could be any topic. Let me know. Anybody good that you think would come on. I want to bring on more guests. I want to do things like that. And I have a few little expose videos that I'm going to make, conspiracy-wise, coming up. And we're going to do all of that in one place. I just figured that'd be the easiest way to do it. And a good way to build up the name and the recognition would be to be consistent every night at the same time under the same umbrella. So this was my idea to do that. Lacey says, I think he didn't care about people before he was elected, and he changed once he felt responsible for so many lives, and he knows all the things going on now. Steve says, they say melatonin helps as well as vitamins D, A, and C. I think that this is not as serious as they're saying. I don't. But I don't know that that's true. I just know that I don't trust them. Does that make any sense? I don't trust them. They've not earned my trust. They don't deserve any trust. And the media is an enemy, and they're hyping the shit out of this. So I don't trust it. Alice says, thanks, you'll tune in again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your super chat, too. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all you guys. And I will try to make this more structured moving forward. But I don't know how much I can make that promise happen, because we're going to talk about just about anything we want, and we're always comment driven. So it's hard to control it sometimes. It goes where it goes. But thanks for watching the Yankey Show, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode. And this will be our new home, the Yankey Show page. I will continue to share to our Revolution War Room, and that is my page. But I'm going to be thinking of, a little bit of a new direction to go with it, because I want to get to really focusing on what I wanted to focus on there and to begin with, which was revolution, rising up, how to empower the people. So we're going to get to more of that on that page. And I felt like Yankee Show was a better place for the Shawn Yankey Show to come from. So this will be where we come from. Like the page. And I will see you tomorrow at 7 for the next episode. Thanks for hanging out with me and putting up with this scattered show. I appreciate all of you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.